Welcome to the American Dream Business Roundtable with Greg Noe and myself, Kathryn Raaker, and our guest tonight, William D. Winship, who is the CEO of PORTACLE and an architect of Safe Power. He's recognized for his 5-day relational excellence practical that has helped to eliminate dysfunction in business and personal lives. PORTACLE is recognized as a firm that provides a unique integrated approach that incorporates process consulting and executive coaching that is measured, hence the tagline, Measured Success. Welcome to our show tonight.
Nice to be here, thank you.
And Greg, as always, you're such a great co-host. What can I say?
I don't know.
You don't know. Well, how did you two meet? That's what I'd like to know to start off with.
Would you like to go?
No, go ahead.
See, he's so diplomatic. Actually, I met Greg years ago, probably almost 14 years ago, I'm thinking. And I actually knocked on his business door, I believe was our original introduction. And I was able to meet him. He was doing some network with businesses, and he had an invitation that I responded to. And that was the beginning of our relationship, and since we've grown to learn all of our other associations together.
All right, so you work together on an ongoing basis, would you say?
Well, yeah, Greg's business actually is our accounting firm, and I can tell you it's incredible when you work with competent people in that area, because money is so misunderstood, and entrepreneurs, we know how to make money, we just don't know how to maybe manage it well.
Right.
So
that's true, isn't
that's
it?
where, yeah.
But tell me, how long have you been in business?
Well,
in this business?
In this business for a little over 15 years, and in the business consulting and coaching area. And then in business generally, I've always been in business as far back as I can remember. Even as a little kid, I started my own lawn mowing business, and it just continued to grow from there.
Right. Now, Greg, you probably have a lot of questions for this young man, so what would they be?
Oh, gosh. I don't know. What have you been doing lately, William? No, in all fairness, William and I have been working on some projects in Amish Country, and I know that you're very interested in learning about that.
Yes.
And I would say that one aspect of what William does that I can't but begin to approach is his dealings with different religious organizations. And he does an in-depth leadership, is what I'll call a leadership training, kind of a class, tutorial, what else is a practicum, if you call it on your website.
Experiential training, actually working with people one-on-one and their families, and that's like,
And most recently, we were working in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, strangely enough, at least to me, helping some Amish and Mennonite folks put together a pizza parlor.
Let's talk about that pizza parlor, right?
Yeah, it initially that struck me kind of weird, but Amish and Mennonite, they eat pizzas, and what had happened was somebody had put together the deal, but it was falling apart rapidly. Yeah. And right as they were getting to open the restaurant, it was starting to all
kind of disintegrate?
Yeah, it kind of was. And you want to share your perspective on that?
Well, it's interesting. Stanley actually invited me to come and begin to observe what's happening with his new adventure. And you know, one of the things I've learned a little bit with the Amish and the Mennonite is they're a little bit secretive at first. They don't share everything. They just share bits and pieces, and it takes time because they're so relational. I mean, that's the reason why. They're just a relational group of people, and they really want to get to know people at a deep level. And I think, like with anybody, that's how you build trust. And so a big component was I was listening to the story, and as it was unveiling and unmasking, I realized I am in way over my head.
Really?
Really, yeah.
Okay.
Really. I realize as I'm learning, there's some serious issues here. There were some legal issues, which
Well,
were
and
huge.
even the lawyers bowed out at one point.
Yeah, the lawyer resigned.
Really?
During the meeting.
Well, it was a real touchy area, and his firm didn't want to cross that line and get into some things that were
Right, because they
very-
have, I've noticed that the Amish and the Mennonites have businesses that are dealing with food, especially up near Columbus, outside of Columbus, and other places where, so was this group not, it really didn't have that kind of a situation before? So this was something totally new for them, right?
Well, it was new for the founding members, I guess I would call. There was a sequence of investors that were brought together. And one of the things I think that the Amish and the Mennonite do is they share, and they really work together well when they do work together. And in this particular situation, there was just a lot of money that was collected, and there wasn't really that much evidence of where
It went?
or if it had a future.
Right.
So what did you do, Greg?
Well, I put together a plan to bail out the business and put it back on track so that we could get the business opened up. That was the key there, because there had been a lot of dollars going someplace, and we could see a freestanding building that was all ready to go, and it was almost ready to open. But all those last few details really needed some attention before they could open. And we helped them get their business open. And there's some unique things that we had to deal with that you wouldn't think about initially.
What would those,
Well, for example, the Amish don't drive. They hire people, individuals,
right.
like the original Uber drivers,
Yeah.
to take them to work. They don't drive. Mennonites do drive, but the
Okay.
Amish don't.
okay,
And
so were
so-
there more Amish than there were Mennonites?
Yeah, it's about an even split.
Yeah.
But what it meant was that if somebody came to work the dinner shift, for example, they really wouldn't make any money, because they would only work for 3 or 4 hours, and by the time they paid the taxi driver to go home, they couldn't make any money. So they had to come to grips with the fact that either the English or the Mennonite had to work those part-time shifts and let the Amish work the full days, where it made more sense.
Makes sense,
Yeah.
makes sense.
So there are little things like that that you had to deal with. Or the fact that the manager was Amish, which meant that he couldn't or wouldn't drive to the bank to make the deposits in the evening. Even though the bank wasn't that far away, you still don't want him walking down the street with thousands of dollars
Right.
ready to make a night deposit.
So the Mennonite did it.
Right.
Yeah, and those are the kinds of things I'm not used to dealing with, but you make adjustments. You see, oh, these are the limitations. This is the hand that you were dealt, and so you have to sort out those kinds of things.
Well, the challenges, I think, that were maybe unspoken really were around culture. I happen to be English, and then there was the Amish, and then there was the Mennonite, and there's all these different cultures trying to learn how to work together and to do that well. It's the concept of cohesiveness, yet there were some things that just weren't there that were cohesive. And one of the issues was the manager. The manager that they hired is a great guy, but he had no experience. But they just thought he could do the job.
Great.
And it's
A
the
friend of the
delegate.
family, as it turned out.
And then on that note,
Yeah.
we need to take a short break,
okay.
and we'll talk about the rest of that story
Okay.
after we come back. Would you give your website, please, William?
Yeah, it's www.portacle.com.
And Greg?
Mine would be the Edgar Allen Group, EDGARALLEN Group, GROUP.com.
And let's give the TriStateConnection.com. We'll be right back after these important messages on the American Dream Business Roundtable.